Hi, I'm Sue Mills, and I work in the PAL lab at Wilkshire Early Childhood Center. And today I'm here to read one of my favorite stories to you. I've brought along my pet tiger, and the story I'm going to read today is about a kitty, and his name happens to be Tiger too. My cat Tiger, he is 15 years old, so he has been a member of our family for a long time. The story I'm reading used to belong to my daughter Michelle. It was one of the first stories that she read when she was in kindergarten, and of course it was special to her because of the name Tiger. And the name of the story, Tiger is a scaredy cat. I don't know that my tiger's a scaredy cat, but our story, Tiger is a scaredy cat. Tiger is big. Tiger is strong. But Tiger is not brave. He is scared of dogs. He is scared of trucks. Vroom. He is scared of the vacuum cleaner. Vroom, watch out. He is scared of the dark. Shh. Tiger is even scared of the mouse in his house. What a scaredy cat. There is nothing scary here. There are no dogs. There are no trucks, no vacuum cleaners, no mice. And it is very sunny. Tiger takes a cat nap. Oops. I think my tiger wants to take a cat nap. The mice take a walk. They do not see the cat. Now they see the cat. The mice are scared. They run away. Tiger sees the mice. He is scared too. He runs too. Baby mouse falls. Wah, wah, he cries. Tiger hears baby mouse. Wah, wah, I want to go home, cries baby mouse. Help me. No, I am scared, said Tiger. Wah, 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 I want my mommy, cries baby mouse. Tiger feels sorry for baby mouse. Do not cry. I will help you. Tiger has to go buy a truck. He has to go buy a dog. He has to go buy a vacuum cleaner. He has to go down the dark stairs. Tiger is scared, but he helps anyway. Here is your mommy, he says. My baby, says Mother Mouse. Thank you, says Father Mouse. What a brave cat Tiger is. And that's our story. Tiger is a scaredy cat.
A place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning
Good afternoon. My name's Randy Kindy. I work for Meridian Police Department, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me here to share my favorite book, Officer Buckle and Glory, with you. This is written by Peggy Rathman. Officer Buckle knew more safety tips than anyone else in Knappville. Every time he thought of a new one, he thumbtacked it to his bulletin board. Safety tip number 77, never stand on a swivel chair. Officer Buckle shared his safety tips with the students at Knappville School. Nobody ever listened. Sometimes there was snoring. Afterward, it was business as usual. Mrs. Topple, the principal, took down the welcome banner. Never stand on a swivel chair, said Officer Buckle, but Mrs. Topple didn't hear him. Then one day, Knappville's police department bought a police dog named Gloria. When it was time for Officer Buckle to give the safety speech at the school, Gloria went along. "Children, this is Gloria," announced Officer Buckle. "Gloria obeys my commands. Gloria, sit." And Gloria sat. Officer Buckle gave safety tip number 1. Keep your shoelaces tied. The children sat up and stared. Officer Buckle checked to see if Gloria was sitting at attention. She was. Safety tip number 2, said Officer Buckle. Always wipe up the spills before someone slips and falls. The children's eyes popped. Officer Buckle checked on Gloria again. Good dog, he said. Officer Buckle thought of a safety tip he had discovered that morning. Never leave a thumbtack where you think someone might sit on it. The audience roared. Officer Buckle grinned. He said the rest of the tips with plenty of expression. The children clapped their hands and cheered. Some of them laughed until they cried. Officer Buckle was surprised. He had never noticed how funny safety tips could be. After this safety speech, there wasn't a single accident. The next day, an enormous envelope arrived at the police station. It was stuffed with thank you letters from the students at Knappville School. Every letter had a drawing of Gloria on it. Officer Buckle thought the drawing showed a lot of imagination. His favorite letter was written on a star-shaped piece of paper. It said, "You and Gloria make a good team. Your friend Claire. P.S. I always wear a crash helmet." That was safety tip number 7. Officer Buckle was thumbtacking Claire's letter to his bulletin board when the phone started ringing. Grade schools, high schools, and daycare centers were calling about the safety speech. Officer Buckle, they said, "Our students want to hear your safety tips, and please bring along that police dog." Officer Buckle told his safety tips to 313 schools. Everywhere he and Gloria went, children sat up and listened. After every speech, Officer Buckle took Gloria out for ice cream. Officer Buckle loved having a buddy. Then one day, a television news team videotaped Officer Buckle in the State College auditorium. When he finished safety tip number 99, do not go swimming during electrical storms, the students jumped to their feet and applauded. "Bravo, bravo," they cheered. Officer Buckle bowed again and again. That night, Officer Buckle watched himself on the 10 o'clock news. The next day, the principal of Knappville School telephoned the police station. "Good morning, Officer Buckle. It's time for our safety speech." Officer Buckle frowned. "I'm not giving any more speeches. Nobody looks at me anyway." "Oh," said Mrs. Topple. "Well, how about Gloria? Could she come?" Someone else from the police station gave Gloria a ride to the school. Gloria sat on stage, looking lonely. Then she fell asleep. So did the audience. After Gloria left, Knappville School had its biggest accident ever. It started with a puddle of banana pudding. Splat, splatter, sploosh. Everyone slid back into Mrs. Topple, who screamed and let go of her hammer. The next morning, a pile of letters arrived at the police station. Every letter had a drawing of the accident. Officer Buckle was shocked. At the bottom of the pile was a note written on a paper star. Officer Buckle smiled. The note said, "Gloria, missed you yesterday. Your friend Claire. P.S. Don't worry, I was wearing my helmet." Safety tip number 7. Gloria gave Officer Buckle a big kiss on the nose. Officer Buckle gave Gloria a nice pat on the back. Then Officer Buckle thought of his best safety tip yet. Safety tip number 101, always stick with your buddy. And that's my favorite book, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to share it with you. And remember, go Vikings. Thank you.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
My name is Jan Knox. At one time I taught at Wilkshire kindergarten for a long time. It's a pleasure to be here to read another story to you at this time. And I brought a broom along. I really didn't write it in, but it's something that we made. My husband and I made brooms, and so we collected storybooks about brooms, and I want to share one with you tonight. This book is called Sugli's Broom, and it was written by Valerie Sho Carey and illustrated by Dirk Zimmer. The pictures are fascinating. Not so long ago in the village of Potsky, there lived a little girl by the name of Zugli. Zugli was her parents' treasure. She washed the family's clothes, fed the chickens, swept the floor, baked the challah, and did the shopping. Her parents were certain that one day she would make a perfect wife and mother. The man who marries our Zugli, they were fond of saying, will be a lucky man indeed. One day, Sugli's parents called her before them. "It's time you were married," said her mother. "We will go to the matchmaker and see what she can do," said her father. So Sugli laid her broom against a chair. "No," she said. "No," said her father, taking a step backward and catching a foot in Sugli's scrubbing pail. "No," said her mother, her hand flying to her mouth. "No," repeated Sugli calmly. "With my broom I sweep floors. With my broom I chase cats out of the chimney in the corner. With my broom I beat rugs and brush ashes from the bake oven. Find me a man as reliable as my broom, and I will marry him. Until then, I see no reason why a strong and clever girl should marry." "Nonsense!" shouted her father. "Every girl needs a husband." "Not really," said Sugli. "But every girl wants a husband," protested her mother. "Not me," said Sugli. "Tomorrow we visit the matchmaker," said her father firmly. "She'll find you a good husband," said her mother. "We'll see," said Sugli. But no one heard her. A few days passed, and the matchmaker sent a suitor to call on Sugli. The young man stood in the doorway, turning his profile just the right way, in what he considered his best side. Sugli looked up from the table where she stood polishing a large brass pot. "Won't you stay for dinner?" she asked. "Of course," said the young man, gazing at his image in the pot. "If you fetch me some water from the well, I'll prepare soup for our meal," said Sugli. The young man scowled. "Oh, work calluses my hands," he complained. "Work or go hungry," answered Sugli. So the young man headed for the well. But when he leaned over to lower the bucket into the water, he caught sight of his reflection. "So handsome," he exclaimed. And there he sat, admiring himself for the rest of the afternoon. When at last he returned to the house, it was getting dark. He arrived to find Sugli cleaning away the dinner dishes. "I'm sorry, but we've already had our dinner," she said. So the young man left, muttering. "Don't worry," said the matchmaker when she learned what had happened. "That one is not the only straw in the broom. The next day, a new suitor came to call. "Greetings," he announced, and he bowed gracefully. "I have heard you are a hard-working girl with a heart of pure gold, but no one told me to expect such a beauty, too." "Oh, and you, sir," said Sugly, studying the man's shabby coat and poorly patched pants, "are quick with words. Are you as quick with your wits?" When the man was seated comfortably at the table with a cup of tea, Sugly set before him a butter churn and a large basket of washing. "I'll go to market to buy what we need for dinner if you will churn the butter and do the wash while I'm gone," she said. "No trouble at all," said the suitor. So Sugly took up her basket and shawl and left the house. The man scratched his jaw and thought, what is the quickest way to get this done with the least labor? A moment later, he was scurrying about, collecting ropes and nails and hammers and saws, wood and a wagon wheel. Then he set to work, pounding and sawing. "Now for the power to run this fine machine," he said when he had finished, and he strode outside. Soon he returned with a cat under one arm and a dog tied to a rope. He fastened the two to the strange contraption and watched them take off. Round and around they went as the gears and cranks pumped the churn up and down and up and down. "Well, that's that," he said. Then he picked up the dirty laundry and a length of rope and went out again. He walked straight to the river and strung the laundry in the water. "Why waste my time when the river can wash everything clean?" And so the happy man made himself comfortable under a tree and fell sound asleep. Before long, a goat wandered by and began nibbling at the rope. He chewed until the clothing spilled into the rushing river. When at last the man awoke, everything was gone. "Ay, ay, ay," he wailed, and he ran back to the house. He pushed open the door, and there was the churn lying on its side. The floor was awash in milk. Flecks of cream sprayed the air as the cat and dog raced around and around after each other. Oh, what a mess. When the man saw what he had done, he turned and he ran out without looking back. That night, Sugly told her parents, "I don't want to meet any more suitors," she said. "I want to go out into the world." Her mother turned pale and nearly fainted. Her father gasped and choked on his bread. "No!" he shouted, knocking the tea from the table. But in the end, they gave in, for they loved their daughter and could not bear to see her unhappy. The next day, Sugly packed her bag and took her broom in her hand. She kissed her parents goodbye and set off into the world. Arriving at a neighboring town, she learned that Mendel the merchant and his wife were looking for a housekeeper. "I'm Sugly from Patsk," she said, "and I'm a good worker." "Well, I'm Mendel," said the little man with a great round belly. "Can you cook?" asked Mendel's wife, who was just as plump as he. "Oh, yes, indeed," said Sugly. "Then you're hired," said Mendel. Sugly worked hard and was happy at Mendel the merchant's house. But Mendel and his wife worried about her. "She's a good girl," said the wife. "Oh, but a lonely one," said Mendel. "I hate to see anyone lonely." "We must do something," said his wife. "We must arrange a match for her." "I know just the fellow for Sugly," said Mendel. "Yankel the leather good man. With him she'll lead a good life." But when Mendel told Sugly of his plan to introduce her to her friend, she was angry. "I can do very well taking care of myself, thank you," she said, and she went off in a huff. That night, Sugly dreamed she was sweeping the floor. As she swept, the floor grew larger and larger. The room filled with people, all smiling at Sugly. And her plain smock suddenly turned into a lovely dress, a bride's dress, with a crown of flowers and a veil. And the broom in her hands changed into a man. The two of them danced together, whirling and sweeping across the floor. Sugly could see her partner clearly. He was lean and spare, and he stood very straight. His wiry hair was the color of straw. It would not lie flat, but stuck out from his head at odd angles. His hands were thin and rough like the wood of her broom handle, but his eyes were gentle when he looked at her. The wedding guests formed a circle around the couple and began to clap their hands and stamp their feet in time to the music. The noise grew louder and louder, and finally it woke her. And there's the picture of the party. There's Sugly. Sugly sat up. She rubbed her eyes, washed and dressed hurriedly, and ate a quick breakfast and went for her broom to start the day's cleaning. But the broom was not in its usual corner. Nor was it by the stove, nor under the bed, nor any place else in her room. Perhaps I left it on the porch, Sugly said to herself. But the broom was not there either. Sugly sat down on the steps. She was trying to remember where her broom might be when the sound of chopping made her look up. She was surprised to see a stranger at the woodpile. "You there," she called to the man with the axe. "Who are you?" The sun shone brightly, and Sugly had to shield her eyes. The stranger's hair was the color of straw and stood out stiffly. Sugly went closer. Perhaps he's a beggar out to steal firewood, she thought. Oh, I wish I had my broom. I would give him such a thrashing. "You there," she called again. "What's your name?" But no answer came. The man went on working. At last, when she stood directly in front of him, the stranger looked up and smiled. Sugly had the oddest feeling that she knew him. Excuse me, sir," she stammered. "Are you Mendel's new helper?" The man said nothing. It was clear he was not used to talking much. Sugly felt foolish. She tried to think of something else to say, but all that came out was, "Have you seen my broom?" "Yes, Sugly," came the answer. Sugly blinked in surprise. "Have we met before?" she asked cautiously. "I took you for a stranger, but you know my name." "I'm no stranger," said the man, shaking his head. "Not to you, Sugly." He laid down his axe and stood up straight, his arms folded across his chest. "My name is Broom." Sugly caught her breath. She began to giggle. "Broom? Excuse me, but that is a silly name." "Of course it is," he answered. "But it's what you've always called me." And then he laughed. Sugly liked the sound of his laughter and his voice. They were soothing sounds, like the whoosh, whoosh of her broom sweeping across the floor. "Yes, I do know you," said Sugly. She was a wise girl who had been taught not to deny miracles, not even miracles that might take place in Mendel the merchant's yard, and to a girl from Patsk. "If eggs become chickens and peach stones become trees, why couldn't a broom, God willing, become a man?" she said. And at that they both laughed. "Will you marry me?" asked Broom. "Yes," said Sugly. And they put their arms around each other and danced about the yard, raising a cloud of dust in the bright morning sun. I hope you enjoyed that story. I don't think this broom will turn into anything but a broom.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
Hi, my name is Kristen Rasmussen, and I'm a former player at Michigan State University. I currently play in the WNBA for the Miami Soul. Also, my mother teaches at Wilkshire and is a first grade teacher there. Today I'm going to read the book Swish. It's one of my favorite, obviously, because I'm a big fan of basketball. The author of the book is Bill Martin Jr. and Michael Sampson. To get a little information about Bill Martin, he is also the author of Brown Bear, What Do You See? Cardinals Blue Jays, what a game. The winner goes to the Hall of Fame. Less than a minute left to play. Blue Jays have the Cards at bay. Referee hands the ball to Lynn. Blue Jays pass comes bouncing in. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Janet passes off to Kim. Outside shot goes off the rim. Kate, leaping from the ground, hustles for a high rebound. Then down the court, Kate bounds, dribble, dribble, dribble. Jumping high into the sky, she shoots. Swish! Cardinal basket. 44-44, only 16 seconds more. Blue Jays rushing, gotta score. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Slowing down to a coast, Marie breaks free to the post. Inside move, what a dare. Jump shot flying through the air. Swish, Blue Jay basket. 64-44, only 7 seconds more. Timeout! Teams gather around the bench. Sweaty towels, wiping brows. Gotta win, the coach shows how. One last play, and no more. The crowd lets out a mighty roar. Teams clasp their hands and make their vows. Scoreboard makes a blaring sound. Go, fight, win! Cardinals pass to the floor. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Like a flash, in comes Jill. Driving hard, tries to steal. But Kate comes out with the ball. The crowd goes wild. Dribble, dribble. Only 3 seconds more. Pass it now. We've got to score. Alley's open on the side. Fake it low, but toss it high. Dribble. Just a second. Is there time? Alley pivots on a dime. Throws to Cindy at the three-point line. Up she goes. The world stands still. Basketball spins, arcing high, falling now from the sky, whirling, swirling, swish. Buzzer blares, game's at end, 0 seconds, Cardinals win.
Adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
Hello, my name is Bob Regan, and I'm your school superintendent. And as your school superintendent, I have the opportunity to work with all of your teachers and Mr. Hewitt, your principal, and it's my privilege to oversee all of the schools in the Haslett Public Schools, and it is a pleasure to work with you. As your school superintendent, it is my job to do the very best I can to make your schools the very best that they can be. It is my privilege today to read the book, The Giving Tree, to you. It's a book that I gave to my family quite a long time ago, way back in 1980. And in fact, it happened to be the Christmas of 1980. When I think of the book, The Giving Tree, it's a book about giving, and it makes me think about those people in my life who are very important to me, particularly my mother and father, who gave me so many things. And this is what this book is all about, and it kind of reminds me sometimes that maybe I took too many things from my mom and dad, and maybe I didn't show my mother and father the appreciation I had for them. So I hope you enjoy the book. Again, it's The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree. Loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, and climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and eat apples, and play in my shade, and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day, the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, and swing from my branches, and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife, and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I am sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "Well, I am too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "Well, I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I am sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry." "Well, I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up, as much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest. And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. I think this is a terrific book, and it is all about giving. And what I'd like you boys and girls to do today is think about all the wonderful things that your mom and dads do for you, and perhaps your grandmother or grandfather or your aunts or uncles or even your older brothers and sisters who do so very many nice things for you. It's my suggestion that you show your appreciation to your family, and I suggest you can do that by thanking them for all those good things that they do. I think you can give them lots of kisses and hugs and tell them how much you love them. So thank you for the opportunity for letting me read to you today. And you have a very, very special day. Thank you.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
I'm Mrs. Ward. Most of you will recognize me either from your classroom or from in the hallways at Wilkshire. Today I'm going to read you a story about a brother and sister. This was a book that my children loved when they were young. The title is The Pain and the Great One by Judy Blume. My brother is a pain. He won't get out of bed in the morning. Mom has to carry him into the kitchen. He opens his eyes when he smells his cornflakes. He should get dressed himself. He's 6. He's in the 1st grade, but he's so pokey. Daddy has to help him, or he'd never be ready on time, and he'd miss the bus. He cries if I leave without him. Then Mom gets mad and yells at me, which is another reason why my brother's a pain. He's got to be first to show Mom his schoolwork, and she oohs and ahs all over his pictures, which aren't great at all, but just ordinary 1st grade stuff. At dinner, he picks at his food. He's not supposed to get dessert if he doesn't eat his meat, but he always gets it anyway. When he takes a bath, my brother the pain powders the whole bathroom and never gets his face clean. Daddy says he's learning to take care of himself. I say he's a slob. My brother the pain is 2 years younger than me, so how come he gets to stay up as late as I do? Which isn't really late enough for somebody in the 3rd grade anyway. I asked Mom and Daddy about that. They said, "You're right, you are older. You should stay up later." So they tucked the pain into bed. I couldn't wait for the fun to begin. I waited, and waited, and waited, but Daddy and Mom just sat there reading books. Finally I shouted, "I'm going to bed." "We thought you wanted to stay up later," they said. I did, but without the pain, there's nothing to do. "Remember that tomorrow," Mom said, and she smiled. But the next day, my brother was a pain again. When I got a phone call, he danced all around me, singing stupid songs at the top of his lungs. Why does he have to act that way? And why does he always want to be garbage man? When I build a city out of blocks, who needs him knocking down the buildings with his dumb old trucks? And I would really like to know why the cat sleeps on the pain's bed instead of mine, especially since I'm the one who feeds her. That's the meanest thing of all. I don't understand how Mom can say the pain is lovable. She's always kissing him and hugging him and doing disgusting things like that. And Daddy says, the pain is just what they always wanted. Yuck. I think they love him better than me. My sister thinks she's so great just because she's older, which makes Daddy and Mom think she's really smart. She thinks she's great just because she can play the piano, and you can tell the songs are real ones. But I like my songs better, even if nobody ever heard of them before. My sister thinks she's so great just because she can work the can opener, which means she gets to feed the cat, which means the cat likes her better than me, just because she feeds her. My sister thinks she's so great just because Aunt Diana lets her watch the baby and tells her how much the baby likes her. And all the time the baby is sleeping in my dresser drawer, which Mom has fixed up like a bed for when the baby comes to visit. And I'm not supposed to touch him, even if he's in my drawer and gets changed on my bed. My sister thinks she's so great just because she can remember phone numbers, and when she dials, she never gets the wrong person. And when she has friends over, they build whole cities out of blocks. I like to be garbage man, and I zoom my trucks all around. So what if I knock down some of their buildings? It's not fair that she always gets to use the blocks, I told Daddy and Mom. They said, "You're right. Today you can use the blocks all by yourself." "I'm going to build a whole city without you," I told the great one. "Go ahead," she said. "Go build a whole state without me. See if I care." So I did. I built a whole country all by myself. Only it's not the funnest thing to play blocks alone. Because when I zoomed my trucks and knocked down buildings, nobody cared but me. "Remember that tomorrow," Mom said, when I told her I was through playing blocks. But the next day we went swimming. I can't stand my sister when we go swimming. She thinks she's so great just because she can swim and dive and isn't afraid to put her face in the water. I'm scared to put mine in, so she calls me baby, which is why I have to spit water at her and pull her hair and even pinch her sometimes. And I don't think it's fair for Daddy and Mom to yell at me because none of it's my fault, but they yell anyway. Then Mom hugs my sister, messes with her hair, and does other disgusting things like that. And Daddy says, "The great one is just what they always wanted." Yuck. I think they love her better than me. I have a son and a daughter, so whenever I read this book, this reminds me of them, and that's why this is one of my favorite books.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
Hi, I'm Mary Sletberry, and I have a student, Ryan, who's in 12th grade at the high school, and Shayna, who's in 7th grade at the middle school. Both my kids went to Wilkshire, and they have very fond memories of being there, especially at the library. Tonight I'd like to read for you my favorite Dr. Seuss book, which is One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are. Yes, some are red and some are blue. Some are old and some are new. Some are sad and some are glad. And some are very, very bad. Why are they sad and glad and bad? I do not know. Go ask your dad. Some are thin and some are fat. This fat one has a yellow hat. From there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Here are some who like to run. They run for fun in the hot, hot sun. Oh me, oh my, oh me, oh my, what a lot of funny things go by. Some have 2 feet, some have 4. Some have 6 feet, some have more. Where do they come from? I can't say. but I bet they've come a long, long way. We see them come, we see them go. Some are fast and some are slow. Some are high and some are low. Not one of them is like the other. Don't ask us why, go ask your mother. Say, look at his fingers. 1, 2, 3. How many fingers do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has 11. 11, this is something new. I wish I had 11 too. Bump, bump, bump. Did you ever ride a wump? Well, we have a wump with just one hump. But we know a man called Mr. Gump. Mr. Gump has a 7-hump wump. So, if you like to go bump, bump, just jump on the hump of the wump of Gump. Who am I? My name is Ned. I do not like my little bed. This is no good, this is not right. My feet stick out of bed all night. And when I pull them in, oh dear, my head sticks out of bed up here. We like our bike. It's made for 3. Our Mike sits up in back, you see. We like our Mike, and this is why. Mike does all the work when the hills get high. Hello, Ned. How do you do? Tell me, what is new? How are things in your little bed? What is new? Please tell me, Ned. I do not like this bed at all. A lot of things have come to call. A cow, a dog, a cat, a mouse. Oh, what a bed. Oh, what a house. Oh dear, I cannot hear. Will you please come over near? Will you please look in my ear? There must be something there, I fear. Say, look, a bird was in your ear. But he is out, so have no fear. Again your ear can hear, my dear. My hat is old, my teeth are gold. I have a bird I like to hold. My shoe is off, my foot is cold. My shoe is off, my foot is cold. I have a bird I like to hold. My hat is old, my teeth are gold. And now my story is all told. We took a look, we saw a nook. On his head he had a book. On his hook he had a book. On his book was how to cook. We saw him sit and try to cook. He took a look at the book on the hook. But a nook can't read, so a nook can't cook, so a good to a nook is a hook book. The moon was out and we saw some sheep. We saw some sheep take a walk in their sleep. By the light of the moon, by the light of a star, they walked all night from near to far. I would never walk, I would take a car. I do not like this one so well. All he does is yell, yell, yell. I will not have this one about. When he comes in, I put him out. This one is quiet as a mouse. I like to have him in the house. At our house, we open cans. We have to open many cans, and that is why we have a Zans. A Zans for cans is very good. Have you a Zans for cans? You should. I like to box. How I like to box. So every day, I box a Gox. In yellow socks, I box my Gox. I box in yellow Gox box socks. It is fun to sing if you sing with a ying. My ying can sing like anything. I sing high and my ying sings low, and we are not too bad, you know. This one, I think, is called a yink. He likes to wink and he likes to drink. He likes to drink and drink and drink. The thing he likes to drink is ink. The ink he likes to drink is pink. He likes to wink and drink pink ink. So if you have a lot of ink, then you should get a yink, I think. Hop, 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 I am a yop. All I like to do is hop from finger top to finger top. I hop from left to right and then hop, hop, I hop right back again. I like to hop all day and night, from right to left, from left to right. Why do I like to hop, hop, hop? I do not know. Go ask your pop. Brush, 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 brush. Comb, 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 comb. Blue hair is fun to brush and comb. And girls who like to brush and comb should have a pet like this at home. Who is this pet? Say, he is wet. Have you ever yet met a pet, I bet? You have never met a pet, I bet, as wet as they let this wet pet get. Did you ever fly a kite in bed? Did you ever walk with 10 cats on your head? Did you ever milk this kind of cow? Well, we can do it. We know how. If you never did, you should. These things are fun, and fun is good. Hello, hello. Are you there, hello? I called you up to say hello. I said, hello. Can you hear me, Joe? Oh, no, I cannot hear your call. I cannot hear your call at all. This is not good, and I know why. A mouse has cut the wire. Goodbye. From near to far, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. These yellow pets are called the Zeds. They have one hair up on their heads. Their hair grows fast, so fast, they say, they need a haircut every day. Who am I? My name is Ish. On my hand I have a dish. I have this dish to help me wish. When I wish to make a wish, I wave my hand with a big swish swish. Then I say, I wish for a fish. And I get fish right on my dish. So, if you wish to wish a wish, you may swish for fish with my Ish Wish dish. At our house, we play out back. We play a game called Ring the Gack. Would you like to play this game? Come down. We have the only gack in town. Look what we found in the park in the dark. We will take him home. We will call him Clark. He will live at our house. He will grow and grow. Will our mother like this? We don't know. And now good night. It's time to sleep. So we will sleep with our pet Zeep. Today is gone. Today was fun. Tomorrow is another one. Every day, from here to there, funny things are everywhere.
Magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see. Making new friends, caring and sharing, Wilkshire wizards are we.
Boys and girls, can you tell by what I'm wearing what my job is? Let me give you a couple hints. I'm the guy that says little children cannot play with matches and should give them to their parents or their teachers if they find them. And I'm also the guy that says to you, if your clothes ever catch on fire, you're supposed to stop, drop, and roll. And I'll be back in a few minutes to read you my favorite book. I sure feel better now that I got my fire coat and helmet off. Let me introduce myself. I'm Firefighter Ward, and I work for the Haslett Fire Department. And as I promised you, I'm here to read you one of our favorite books at the fire station called Daisy the Fire Cow, written by Vicki Woodworth. I hope you enjoy it. Daisy stood back from the herd and frowned at the other cows. How can they look so content, she wondered, just swatting flies and taking up pasture space day after day. Don't they know that there's a huge world out there? Big cities, excitement, adventure? I want to see it all. That very day, Daisy left the field. She hoofed along the dusty road till she came to a town. So there it is, she thought, the big city. Daisy took it all in, her brown eyes wide open. She arrived at a red brick building, and on the wall there was a sign that read, "Needed immediately, fire station mascot. Are you looking for excitement?" Why, yes, I am, thought Daisy. Are you willing to work long hours and do dangerous hours and save lives? Oh, yes, thought Daisy. Are you a Dalmatian? Well, no, but Daisy thought to herself, I do have black spots, and I do want the job. She knocked on the door. Yes, asked a firefighter. Daisy pointed to the sign. Well, we were looking for a Dalmatian, the firefighter said. Daisy pointed to her spots, smiling hopefully. Just then the chief walked by. "What's this cow doing in here?" he roared. "Well, she wants to be our mascot," said the firefighter. "She what?" yelled the chief. Daisy's big brown eyes filled with tears. "Well, sir," said the firefighter, "a Dalmatian hasn't applied for the job yet, and she does have black spots." "Black spots," thundered the chief. "She's a cow." But as he stormed away, he added, "As soon as the Dalmatian shows up, the cow goes." The firefighter smiled at Daisy. "You've got the job," he said, "at least for now." So Daisy settled in as the temporary fire station mascot. The first day she learned how to get into the firefighter's suit and how to play checkers. "A cow playing checkers," muttered the chief. The next day, Daisy and the firefighters rolled out the old fire engine to wash it and polish it. As Daisy scrubbed and buffed, she thought, "How exciting! What a lucky cow I am." "Grrr," said the chief. The day after that, Daisy helped the fireman unwind the long hose and test it. Then she practiced sliding down the fire pole. "Moo, this is life for me," she thought. "This is too much," said the chief. The fire phone rang. The chief answered it. "Fire? Russell's barn? We'll be right there." They zoomed away in the fire truck with Daisy hanging onto the side. "This is my big chance," she thought, as the wind stung her eyes. Russell's barn was all ablaze. Mr. Russell shouted, "I'm going back in for my calf. He's too scared to come out." "No," ordered the chief. "Those beams are about to fall, and it's way too dangerous." "Ma," the baby calf cried. Daisy had to do something. "He's right behind the wall," she thought. She gave the board a hefty kick and crunch. Daisy peered through the hole. The baby calf was huddled in the corner. "Moo, moo, moo," called Daisy, and the calf came right to Daisy. The others ran over just as she was pulling the calf through the hole. "Daisy," they cried, "you saved the calf." "Oh, thank you," said Mr. Russell gratefully. And the chief grunted, "We still have work to do." They all worked very hard to put out the fire, but Daisy was magnificent. When the fire engine pulled up to the station, there was a big Dalmatian reading the mascot wanted sign. "Oh no," thought Daisy, "this is it. No more adventures. No more fighting fires. If they hire that Dalmatian, my career is over." The chief marched right up to the big Dalmatian. Then he pulled down the sign. "Sorry, fellow," he said, "this fire station has found its mascot." The end. Thanks for listening.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
Well, hi, I'm Mr. Ross Brower, and I teach music at Wilkshire, and I teach the kindergartners and the first graders and all of our pre-primary kids as well. Today, I'm going to read you a Dr. Seuss story, and it's called Gerald McBoing Boing. And I love this story because it has all kinds of cool sounds in it, and I think you'll enjoy it. This is the story of Gerald McCloy and the strange thing that happened to that little boy. They say it all started when Gerald was 2. That's the age kids start talking, at least most of them do. Well, when he started talking, you know what he said? He didn't talk words. He went boing, boing instead. "What's that?" cried his father, his face turning gray. "That's a very odd thing for a young boy to say." And poor Gerald's father rushed to the phone and quick dialed the number of Dr. Malone. "Come over fast," the poor father pled. "Our boy can't speak words. He goes boing, boing instead." "I see," said the doctor. "It's just as you've said. He doesn't speak words. He goes boink, boink instead. I've no cure for this. I can't handle the case." And he packed up his pills and walked out of the place. Then months passed, and Gerald got louder and louder, till one day he went boom, like a big keg of powder. It was then that his father said, "This is enough. He'll drive us both mad with this terrible stuff. A boy of his age shouldn't sound like a fool. He's got to learn words. We must send him to school." So Gerald marched off, an obedient creature. But soon he was back home with a note from the teacher. "From Public School 7 to Mrs. McCloy. Your little son Gerald's a most helpless boy. We cannot accept him, for we have a rule that pupils must not go cuckoo in our school. Your boy will go honk all the rest of his life, I'm afraid. Sincerely yours, Fanny Schultz, teacher, 1st grade." And as little Gerald grew older, he found that when a fellow goes bam, no one wants him around. When a fellow goes he won't have any friends. For once he says clang, 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 all the fun ends. "Yeah, yeah," they all shouted. "Your name's not McCloy. You're Gerald McBoing-Boing, the noise-making boy." Poor Gerald decided that he had no place at home, in the school, in the whole human race. And so he concluded that, drear and forlorn, he would just disappear in the thick of a storm. But as he was boarding a slow-moving freight, a voice from the darkness called out, "Stop, boy! Wait! Aren't you Gerald McBoing-Boing, the lad who makes squeaks? My boy, I have searched for you many long weeks. I can make you the most famous lad in the nation, for I own the Bong 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 radio station. I need a smart fellow to make all the sounds, one who can bark like a dog and bellow like a hound. Your gong is terrific. Your toot is inspired. Quick, come to Bong Bong Bong. McBoing-Boing, you're hired." Now his parents, proud parents, are able to boast that their Gerald's bang is known coast to coast. Now Gerald is rich. He has friends. He's well fed. 'Cause he doesn't speak words. He goes boing, boing instead.
Hi, my name is Kelly Flagg, and I teach kindergarten at Wilkshire Early Childhood Center. And for 20 years now, I've been reading a most favorite book to my children called Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree. And this book was first given to me by my good friend, Mrs. Batten. And it was written actually 40 years ago. And I have with me the black and white version of this book. And just in the year 2000, they revised this book and colorized it. And that's the book that I'm going to read to you today. It's entitled Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree, and it's written by Robert Barry. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. A magnificent tree, splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willoughby made a terrible face. This tree touched the ceiling and bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped. Something must go. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the tree, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willoughby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willoughby's upstairs maid. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid, will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with scissors sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day in the back of the house to be thrown away. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa-la-la, surprise, surprise, his wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've a present for you. Isn't it a pretty tree, yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, that tree won't hold a star. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off the bottom here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. Jolly by golly bee, Barney said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings. Mama said, trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, cried Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dears, now don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems he thought most certainly Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found. With that he called his family round. And then there was merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits can be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away the children cried, "Look, it's leaning off to one side." "It's too tall, that's all," said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw away the top. Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice, up some stairs. He fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. "It's just the right size," said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, isn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willoughby?
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkshire wizards are we.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Rockstad. I'm the library coordinator at Raleigh. Those of you who are coming from Wilkshire to Raleigh next year will get to know me better, and I'm looking forward to that. One of my favorite stories is Hecate Peg by Don and Audrey Wood. As a matter of fact, Don Wood did the illustrations and Audrey Wood wrote the story. And the mother in the book is modeled after Audrey Wood. Hecate Peg. Down the dusty roads and far away, a poor mother once lived with her 7 children named Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every day before the mother went to work, her children helped with all the chores. One morning when they were finished, the mother said, "Because you are such good children, you may ask for anything you want, and I will bring it home from the market." The children were overjoyed and knew exactly what they wanted. Monday asked for a tub of butter. Tuesday asked for a pocket knife. Wednesday asked for a china pitcher. Thursday asked for a pot of honey. Friday asked for a tin of salt. Saturday asked for crackers. And Sunday asked for a bowl of egg pudding. The mother kissed her children goodbye and said, "Now be careful, and remember, don't let a stranger in and don't touch fire." The children locked the door behind her and began to play. Before long, a witch hobbled up the road, pulling a heavy cart. She rapped at the window and called out, "I'm Hecate Peg, I've lost my leg, let me in." "We can't," Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday called. "Mother told us not to let a stranger in." Hecate Peg took a pipe from her cape and stuck it in her mouth. "Come now, sweet chicken," she said. "All I need is a light for my pipe. Bring me a burning straw." "We can't," Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday called. "Mother told us not to touch fire." Hecate Peg reached in her cart and pulled out a sack. "I'm sure your mother won't mind," she said. "Look, if you let me in and light my pipe, I'll give you this." Leaning out the window, the children looked into the sack. They couldn't believe their eyes. "Gold!" they cried. "For a sack of gold, we'll let you in and light your pipe." The children unlocked the door and let the witch in. They ran to the hearth
and brought back burning sticks of straw to light her pipe. But when it was lit, Hecate-Peg threw the pipe to the floor and shouted, "Now I've got you!" And with that, the witch turned the children into food. Monday became bread, Tuesday became pie, Wednesday became milk, Thursday became porridge, Friday became fish, Saturday became cheese, and Sunday became roast rib. Hecate-Peg gathered up the food and loaded it in her cart. Without looking back, she pulled the cart down the road, over the bridge, through the town, across the field, and deep into the woods to her hut. Soon the mother returned home carrying a large basket. In it were all the things her children wanted: a tub of butter for Monday, a pocket knife for Tuesday, a china pitcher for Wednesday, a pot of honey for Thursday, a tin of salt for Friday, crackers for Saturday, and a bowl of egg pudding for Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she called. But no one answered. The mother found the witch's broken pipe and burnt pieces of straw on the floor. Tears flowed from her eyes. "Who has taken my children?" she cried. A blackbird who had seen everything took pity on the mother and hopped down to the windowsill. "Follow me," the bird chirped. "It's Hecate-Peg. She's lost her leg." They let her in. Grabbing her basket, the mother followed the blackbird down the road, over the bridge, through the town, across the field, and deep into the woods to the witch's hut. Hecate-Peg had just sat down to supper and was about to take her first bite when she heard a loud knock. "Let me in," the mother called. "I want my children back." "You can't come in," said Hecate-Peg. "Your shoes are dirty." "Then I'll take them off," the mother said, and so she did. "Let me in," the mother called. "I want my children back." "You can't come in," said Hecate-Peg. "Your socks are dirty." "Then I'll take them off," the mother said, and so she did. "Let me in," the mother called. "I want my children back." "You still can't come in," said Hecate-Peg. "Your feet are dirty." "Then I'll cut them off," the mother said, and she went away as if to do so. But instead, the mother hid her legs behind her and crawled back to the witch's door. "Let me in," the mother called. "I want my children back." When Hecate-Peg looked down, she thought the mother had no feet, and so she let her in. The witch pointed to the table. "Here are your children," she said. "If you can't guess them right the first time, I'll eat them for my supper." Keeping her feet tucked beneath her, the mother crawled to the table. How would she ever guess which food was which child? In despair, the mother looked in her basket. "Here are the things my children wanted," she thought, "and now they'll never have them." "Hurry," said the witch. "I'm hungry." The mother looked at the food on the table. "Speak up," said the witch. "My supper grows cold." Suddenly, the mother knew what to do. Taking the things from her basket, she said, "I know my children by what they want. Bread wants butter, that's Monday. Pie wants knife, that's Tuesday. Milk wants pitcher, that's Wednesday. Porridge wants honey, that's Thursday. Fish wants salt, that's Friday. Cheese wants crackers, that's Saturday. And roast rib wants egg pudding, that's Sunday." Quick as a wink, the children turned back into themselves. They hugged and kissed their mother. Then they hugged and kissed each other. Jumping to her feet, the mother cried, "I've got my children, Hecate-Peg. Now you'll be sorry you ever took them." And she chased the witch around the hut, out of the woods, across the field, through the town, and onto the bridge. And Hecate-Peg jumped off the bridge and was never seen again.
Hi guys, I'm Mrs. Peterson, and one of my jobs is to work in the cafeteria at Wilkeshire. And I'm going to read a story today about a new cafeteria lady. This story is called The Cafeteria Lady from the Black Lagoon. It's by Mike Thayer, and pictures are by Jared Lee. We got a new cafeteria lady today. Her name is Wanda Belch. Eric says that instead of a car, she drives a garbage truck to school. Freddie heard that she learned to cook on a pirate ship, so don't go near the kitchen. Derek says that at Wanda's old school, kids found sneakers and baseball caps in her tuna surprise. And when the class pets disappeared, the kids made sure to check the specials the next day. All the kids say that Wanda uses natural ingredients in her dishes. Organic rats in her ratatouille. Sweaty socks in her moussaka. Gooey ghouls in her goulash. And real sand and witches in her sandwiches. We heard Wanda's into recycling. The water she washes the dishes in will be tomorrow's soup of the day. I heard she doesn't throw anything away. I wonder what Wanda's cooking up right now. Today's menu will probably be roadkill ravioli, spaghetti with bowling balls, souffle of science experiments, and toxic waste tacos. For dessert, we might have ton cake, which is pound cake, only heavier. Even if you can't eat the food, they say, it's always good for something. The meatballs are aerodynamic. The mashed potatoes are good for sculpting. The pudding will stick to anything. And the spinach is great for vinyl repairs. I ripped the car seat. Here, Dad, try Wanda's spinach. I hope the spaghetti will make good shoe laces. Uh-oh, it's time for lunch. I'm too young to die. Can't we have a math test instead? Isn't it time for vaccinations? We're being lined up and marched down to the cafetorium. I'll bet Wanda's stirring up poisonous pots full of molten messes of steamy slime. We're through the door. We get our trays. They don't offer us blindfolds. Hey, Wanda doesn't look so bad. And look, she's made hamburgers and French fries. They smell good if you take your hand off your nose. I'm going to get two. Gobble, gobble, munch, munch. Look out, stomach, here comes lunch. Hey, these taste great. Maybe I'll get 3 more. There are even homemade chocolate chip cookies for dessert. Lunchtime is going to be my favorite class. Maybe Wanda will let us stay for dinner. Well, I hope you enjoy our lunch at Wilkeshire. I'm not from the Black Lagoon. Thank you.
A place of adventure awaits us, a magical place to be, exploring the world together. Wilkeshire wizards are we. Becoming a wizard takes learning, a curious mind you see, making new friends, caring and sharing. Wilkeshire wizards are we.
Hi, my name is Tracy Perrone. I'm a junior at Haslett High School. I like S Club 7, Spice Girls, I like to exercise, and my story is about the Berenstain Bears. Meet Santa Bear is my favorite book because it's about Christmas. And Christmas is my favorite holiday. It was just 2 days after Thanksgiving, and the sights and sounds of Christmas can be seen and heard all over Bear Country. It seems to me, said Mama Bear, the Bear family arrived at the Bear Country Mall. That Christmas season starts earlier every year. Yes, indeed. Isn't it great? Said Papa Bear, admiring the mall's decorations. I'm not sure the sight. I'm not so sure, sighed Mama. I'm concerned about Brother and Sister Bear. Too much excitement isn't good for cubs. No need to be concerned, said Papa Bear. Brother and Sister are good little cubs. I'm sure they'll be calm and sensible about the whole thing. But if Papa hadn't looked at brother and sister at that moment, he wouldn't have been so sure. They were passing the big new toy store, and brother and sister didn't look the least bit calm and sensible. They had just come from watching Saturday morning television, and there had been lots of commercials for new Christmas toys. Sister had wanted them all. A bear hug teddy that you hug, that hug you back when you squeeze it, and a ride-on pink pony, a clown face mobile kit, and Giggly Goo, a trained substance that you can make into all sorts of funny shapes. There have been some things that excited Brother too, especially a remote control robot that can stand on its head and a dinosaur molding kit. And there they were right in the Toy Story window, plus lots more. Sister was so excited, she was practically jumping up and down. And when Brother read a sign saying Santa Bear was coming to the mall to meet all his cub friends, she got even more excited. Santa Bear, she cried, "Oh, Mama, may I meet Santa Bear? Please, may I please?" "In good time," said Mama, smiling again, calm and sensible, eh? She said, looking at Papa. Sister Bear could hardly wait to start her Christmas list. She needed a little help from Brother with the hard words, but she didn't need any help thinking up things she wanted for Christmas. Over the next few days, the sights and sounds of Christmas became stronger and stronger, longer and longer. After a while, it looked like this. You know, warned Brother, if your list is too long, Santa Bear might think you're greedy and not bring you anything. Sister hadn't thought of that. Santa Bear has lots of cubs besides you to think about, all the cubs in the world. She hadn't thought of that either. She looked at a long list. She made her get a little nervous. "Have you ever met Santa Bear?" she asked Brother. "Sure," answered Brother, who was finishing up his list. It was very short. "A couple of years ago." He asked if I'd been good. Then I told him what I wanted for Christmas. And gave him my list. That was that. It was fun. Now, our sister was really nervous. She thought of all the times she hadn't been good. The time that she and brother had got into the fight and shouted at each other. The time that Mama's best lamp had gotten broken when they told a big lie. And the time that they let the room get so messy that Mama had threatened to throw away their toys. Oh, I wouldn't worry about those times, said Mama, giving his sister a little hug. Sam Bear doesn't expect cubs to be perfect. That's good. Then she said, I hope you have your list ready because tomorrow is the day you're going to meet Santa Bear. Sister gulped. It's almost ready, she said. About your list for Santa. Yours and Papa's. Don't worry about that, sweetie, said Papa. Santa Bear isn't just for grown-ups. He's for cubs. Psst, whispers brother. Presents from Mama and Papa is our job, silly. Come on, let's see how much you've got in your piggy bank. So there's just enough. Brother had enough and a little extra. That evening, Sister made a new list. It looked a lot like Brother's. But when they got to Santa Bear's little house in the mall the next day, there was a long line. Sister waited to begin to think about Santa and what a hard job he had. She wondered how he took care of all those cubs. She wondered if he got all those presents. She wondered. Then, before she could wonder another wonder, it was her turn. She was up on Santa Bear's lap. It's really nice to see you, he said in a deep, jolly voice. Now tell me, my dear, have you been good this year? Well, said Sister, taking a deep breath, I haven't been perfect, but I have been good. Then she told him what she wanted for Christmas and gave him her list. Santa gave her every cub a souvenir coloring book. The cover showed him and his 8 tiny reindeer flying through the starry sky night. Sister's mind was so filled with thoughts about Santa that she almost forgot about the special shopping she and Brother that she had to do. But Brother reminded her. They found just the right presents for Mama and Papa. Sister chose a fine new fur brush for Papa and a lovely new pin cushion for Mama Bear, and brought Mama a box of her favorite breakfast tea, and for Papa a handy pocket calculator. Look, said Sister as they were leaving the mall, another Santa. She was right. There, ringing a bell, a rather skinny Santa with a scraggly beard. Besides him was a big iron pot that said, help the needy. That's one of Santa's many helpers, explained Papa. His job is to collect money to help the needy. Birds who need seeds, squirrels who didn't put enough aside for the winter. The Bear family all put money in the pot. Sister had spent all hers and to borrow some from Mama. Finally, the days and the weeks were preparation and waiting were over. It was Christmas Eve. Now you know something, Papa, said Sister, as she helped hang a holly wreath. I've been thinking about Santa Bear and what a hard job he has. How can you visit every cub in the world in just a single night? Where does all those gifts get all those gifts? And besides, how can reindeer fly? And how can the sleigh land if it doesn't snow? And how can Santa come down or it's getting a little chimney? Papa took a breath, then looked up at the starry sky. I guess the answer, my dear, that Christmas is such a special time. It's very special, almost magical things can happen. And that most magical things of all is Santa Bear. I'd say he has the best job in the whole world. Because the joy of giving is what Christmas is all about. I suppose, said Sister, that Santa could skip the chimney and come in the front door. I suppose, said Papa. Then before she went in, she took a last at the look at the starry sky. Now but it clouded over, and now instead of stars, there were snowflakes, thousands and thousands of small, slight snowflakes. Well, she thought at least that will happen with the sleigh. When Sister woke up Christmas morning, Bear Country was covered with a beautiful blanket of snow. The floor beneath the bear's Christmas tree was covered with piles of beautiful presents. What fun, what excitement, what shouting. Then, when the excitement and the shouting were over, the cubs watched Mama and Papa open their presents. What a lovely gift, said Mama. Just what I wanted, said Papa. It was a very special moment. Sister knew right then and there that Papa was right. Santa Bear, they had the best job in the whole world because the joy of giving was Christmas was all about.